Our Executive Councilor from District 2, Colin Van Ostern. Colin's experience working with non-profit organizations has paved his way as a reputation as a hard-working advocate for the citizens of New Hampshire. He was instrumental, along with Councilor Pappas, sending a message to Fairpoint during our strike. So, without further ado, Colin, thank you.
Good morning. I have 3 minutes today, but I'm using one of them up on Linda, because I represent 265,000 people in this state, and I can tell you of all of them, there is no one more fierce, or stubborn, or funny, or irreverent, or committed to the labor movement and New Hampshire citizens than Linda. Thank you, Linda. Linda, like many of us this past year, stood day in and day out, and probably more than most in this room, with thousands of her fellow IBEW and CWA members demanding fair pay and fair benefits from Fairpoint. I don't know if everyone knows this, it was the longest and biggest labor strike in the country last year. And I think, Linda, you're to be congratulated for the work that you did there. Linda, who a couple of years ago, probably many people in this room remember thousands of us gathering on the State House lawn in Concord, standing up to Bill O'Brien, standing up against so-called right to work, really right to work for less. Linda, who for 25 years has been coming to this breakfast. I mention it partly because I want to recognize her for the award that she's gotten today, but partly because I think that is how we win, standing together. And you have hundreds of people in this room, and I believe thousands across this country, who will stand with you against cancer. We love you, Linda. Together is how we win. It was standing together last winter that finally brought Fairpoint back to the bargaining table. You know, when you don't have a trained or professional labor force, it makes a real difference. And last winter, we saw the number of complaints that came into the state went from 50 to 500 a month. And Fairpoint was refusing to come back to the bargaining table. So what did we do? We stood together. When I talked with Governor Hassan and Councilor Pappas and Councilor Deb Pignatelli about a $13 million contract for Fairpoint that was coming in front of the state, and we talked about how the fact that we couldn't move forward with that contract until we had a clear path to getting a professional, trained labor force back on the job, they never wavered. We stood together. A few days later, Fairpoint came back to the bargaining table, and a few weeks later, not because of us, but because of the hundreds of people on the picket lines sacrificing them and their families, we saw a resolution to that strike. That's how we win. That's what this day is about. It's about standing together. You know, when we stand together, we win, and I can't help but think that they have the money, but we, the people, the workers, the citizens, we have the numbers. And that's why this day works. That's why we have something to celebrate today. Because of the work that the people in this room have done for years, and those who came before us have done for over 100 years now, our lives are better. American lives, New Hampshire lives, workers' lives, consumers' lives are better. I think that's what Labor Day is about. And that's what I think of when I say Happy Labor Day. Thank you very much.